I've been watching people compare Codex and OpenClaw for months now, and almost everyone is doing it wrong. They're asking which one is better, when they should be asking which one actually gets my work done. And I'm going to give you the answer to that second question in the next 60 seconds, because I've spent 2 months testing both of these tools in real workflows. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you need, and more importantly, why most people actually need to understand they're not even competing for the same job, right? Okay, so here's the payoff I promised. Codex is for focused, deep coding sprints and repo scale changes. It's what you use when you need to ship code, fix tests, refactor architectures, or handle migrations. OpenClaw is for persistent, always-on personal operations and automation. It's what you use when you need something watching your inbox, routing messages, running scheduled tasks, and orchestrating workflows across multiple apps. And here's what nobody tells you. They're complements, not substitutes. Now, I know what you're thinking, but they both use AI, they both write code. Aren't they basically the same thing? No. And that's exactly the confusion I'm going to clear up. The difference isn't about which model is smarter, it's about how they fit into your actual day-to-day workflow. Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with Codex, because there's massive confusion here. The new OpenAI Codex launched in May 2025 is completely different from the original one. This is a cloud-based autonomous coding agent powered by O3 and O4 Mini. You access it through ChatGPT Plus, ChatGPT Pro, or their API. In 2026, they added batch API pricing that's 50% cheaper for non-instant tasks, which makes it incredibly cost-effective for background automation. And here's where it gets interesting. It's now integrated directly into GitHub through Copilot Business and Pro subscriptions. You can mention a Codex in pull request comments, assign it to issues, and it maintains shared context across your entire GitHub workflow. OpenClaw is something entirely different. It's an open-source proactive personal agent with over 100 built-in agent skills. It connects AI models directly to your local files, your shell, your web browser, WhatsApp, Discord, and pretty much any app you can think of. It's model agnostic, which means you bring your own API keys for cloud models, or you run everything locally on your own infrastructure. The key word here is proactive. Traditional AI tools like ChatGPT wait for you to ask questions. OpenClaw acts. It's a programmable digital worker that transforms AI from a conversational interface into an actionable one. And that difference is everything. Here's the fundamental difference that determines which tool you need. Codex operates on a per-session basis. You fire it up, it analyzes your code base, you have a productive session, and then it's done. The next time you start it, you're essentially starting fresh. This works perfectly for focused coding sprints, where you need deep assistance on a specific task. You get in, you get the work done, you get out. Clean, focused, effective. OpenClaw takes a completely different approach. It's a life automation platform that happens to be excellent at coding tasks among many other capabilities. It lives in your messaging apps, maintains persistent memory across sessions, and can orchestrate complex workflows that span far beyond just writing code. It doesn't reset. It remembers. It watches. It acts on schedules. If Codex is a consultant you bring in for a specific project, OpenClaw is a personal assistant who's always there, always learning, always working in the background. Both are valuable, but they solve completely different problems. Let me show you where Codex absolutely dominates. When you need to handle repo scale analysis, write comprehensive tests, execute complex refactors, manage migrations, or even write code for other agents, Codex is unmatched. I've watched it analyze multi-repo architectures, identify breaking changes, scaffold entire test suites, and generate migration scripts that actually work. And because it's integrated into GitHub, you can review everything through pull requests, assign it to issues, and mention a Codex in comments to request updates. The workflow is native to where developers actually work. And here's something most people miss. Codex is better at improving agents. If you're building agent systems, Codex can write the infrastructure code for those systems. The depth, the reliability, the GitHub native integration, and the cost control through batch API for non-urgent jobs. This is purpose-built for serious engineering work. When I need to ship code, this is what I reach for. Every single time. Now let's talk about where OpenClaw has zero competition. When you need something routing your messages, managing reminders, handling recurring tasks, automating web interactions, organizing files, or orchestrating workflows across multiple apps with persistent memory. Nothing else comes close. I've set up OpenClaw to watch specific folders, summarize messages from multiple platforms, auto-respond on WhatsApp and Discord based on context, run cron-like workflows and handle browser automation. And it remembers everything across sessions. Here's a real example from my workflow. OpenClaw monitors project channels, extracts action items, creates tasks in my project management tool, sends me a morning summary, and follows up on overdue items. All of this happens without me touching anything. Codex can't do this. It's not designed to live in your apps. It's not built for persistent, always-on operation. OpenClaw is. And for power users who need continuous operations across tools, this is the only real option. Let me show you 4 real tasks and which tool wins for each. Task 1. Codebase refactor across multiple repositories. Codex wins. It analyzes dependencies, identifies impact zones, generates the refactor, and creates reviewable PRs. I've done this. It works. Task 2. Fixing a broken CI/CD pipeline. Codex wins again. Deep diagnostic ability, repo context, and it can push fixes directly through GitHub. Task 3. Inbox triage with intelligent follow-ups across email, Slack, and Discord. OpenClaw wins. It maintains context across platforms, remembers previous conversations, and can execute follow-up actions on schedules. Task 4. Weekly reporting automation that pulls data from multiple sources, generates summaries, and distributes them to different teams. OpenClaw dominates. It orchestrates across tools, maintains memory of previous reports, and runs on a schedule. Notice the pattern? When the work is deep, focused, and code-centric, Codex wins. When the work is broad, persistent, and crosses multiple tools, OpenClaw wins. They're not competing, they're solving different problems. Let's talk about what each tool is actually good at and where they fall short. Codex strengths: depth, reliability, GitHub native workflow, cost control through batch API, and it's excellent at writing agent code. Codex weaknesses: no persistence between sessions, not designed for always-on operations, limited to coding-focused tasks. OpenClaw strengths: autonomy, extensive integrations, persistent memory, scheduled execution, cross-app orchestration. OpenClaw weaknesses: security exposure risks, setup complexity, and you're responsible for hosting and API costs, and we need to talk about the security situation. In February 2026, researchers found over 40,000 OpenClaw instances exposed on the public internet, with 60% having vulnerabilities that could allow hackers to take control. There's a flaw called clawjacked that allows websites to silently hijack your OpenClaw instance. Chinese government agencies issued official warnings about prompt injection attacks and data theft risks. This is real. If you run OpenClaw, you need zero trust configurations, proper isolation, and you need to understand the risks. Codex, running in OpenAI's cloud or GitHub's infrastructure, has enterprise-grade isolation, different risk profiles. You need to know this before you choose. Here's how to actually make this decision. If you're an engineer who ships code, handles repos, fixes tests, manages refactors, or builds agent systems, start with Codex. It's integrated where you work, it's cost-effective through batch API, and it's purpose-built for engineering depth. If you're a power user or team that needs continuous operations across tools, message routing, task automation, scheduled workflows, cross-app orchestration, start with OpenClaw. It's the only tool designed for persistent, always-on assistant operations. And here's what I've learned after 2 months. Many people will end up running both. Codex for focused coding sprints. OpenClaw for everything else that needs to happen continuously in the background. They're complements. Use Codex to build better agents. Use OpenClaw to run those agents across your entire workflow. That's the real answer nobody's giving you, right? Stop asking which tool is better. Start asking which tool solves your actual workflow problem. Codex for deep coding work. OpenClaw for always-on operations. And if you need both types of work done, you probably need both tools. I want to hear from you in the comments. What's your specific workflow? What are you actually trying to get done? Because that's the only question that matters. And if this saved you weeks of confusion and wasted setup time, consider subscribing. I make practical AI guides like this because I'm tired of the hype. I want to know what actually works. Let's figure this out together. The right tool is the one that fits how you actually work, not the one with the most GitHub stars. Not the one everyone's talking about, the one that gets your real work done. Thanks for watching.